Hi everyone, it's Meridy. I am back today with my Style Your Scraps video for July 2025 with our Sunny Escapes kit. So I have a couple ideas. I hope I have enough paper to get through my ideas because this is all the paper that I have left of this kit. So I have this little scrap. I'm going to kind of divide these out in my head while I'm going. These two, all the cardstock actually that you're going to see today is from my stash that I pulled. But since it already matches, I'm just going to go ahead and use it like scraps. And these little starburst pieces of that paper, I'm not going to use these in today's video because I really want to make a layout with them eventually. I'll show you what I'm thinking during the video today. So I'm just kind of separating the scraps because I have 3 different ideas of what I want to do here. This is our packaging from a die cut, that blue color. And as you can see, I'm kind of getting a pile of strips. Some of these are too small to do anything with. Pile of strips and a pile of a little bit larger pieces. I'll put this with the larger pieces. This can go with the strips. Okay, this is not even really a scrap, it's just white paper. Okay, now that I've got all of this, I'm going to show you what I've got left to work with embellishment wise. Okay, so I've got a couple more little baubles there, my sequins and pearls, of course, my trim. Then I've got a lot of little pieces of ephemera and some of these puffy, not puffy, foam stickers. So I'm kind of going to make piles. That's going to be my foam stickers. These will be my ephemera and die cuts. I've got some acrylics left that I didn't end up using. I'll sort through the rest of this here off camera and I'll be right back when I get it all into piles. Okay guys, I've got everything kind of organized here. I'm gonna save this for the end because I need more space to show you my idea for that. So I'll just put those off to the side. I'm not gonna use my die cut summer title today on this video, so I'm just gonna move it. I've just gotta clear out some of these things. I've got my color swatch here still. I'm just gonna put it off to the side too. Okay, what we've got going on, the first thing that I think I wanna do, these are all the die cuts, the rest of the tickets that I didn't use yet this month in the little ticket subscriber freebie pack. And this is just a pile of all the different packaging that I have left. Some of it might not even be necessarily from this kit. I just have packaging there that I used. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is I saw these cute little Polaroid frames that Tim Holtz made. And they were like $8 for a pack. And basically they were almost like multiple Polaroid frames kind of layered up and then stitched around the edges. I'll show you. And I just thought it was the cutest thing, but I didn't want to pay $8 for like literally 8 frames, for real. That's basically what it was. So I was not willing to pay that, but I think that I could make something similar. So I'm going to make a bunch of different little Polaroid frames. And I'm not really going to stitch down them because I don't want to get my sewing machine out, and I have stamps that look like stitching. So I'm going to try to use the stamps. So what I'm simply doing right now is cutting a square piece of paper or rectangle piece of paper out of my scraps. These happen to be 4 inches long because then I was able to get 3 off that strip. And I'm not even measuring, you guys. Like, I'm really just eyeballing the center piece that I'm cutting out of here. And my trimmer, the trimmer that I use to gut, which is this one, is so terrible. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I think I need a new blade real bad. I'm gonna see if I can find a new blade in my room. Well, I'm a little sad because I have no replacement blades here. So I just placed an Amazon order for one because, oh my gosh, this is horrible. One way to get rid of that, if you have a blade that's chewing up your paper so bad like that, is to gently take like a heavy duty nail file like this one and just file those little flyaway pieces off just like this. I'm just showing you this. This probably sounds terrible in the video. I don't want to do it too much longer. I'm just showing you this in case you have this problem and you're waiting for a new trimmer blade. You can just file the edges and it really, really helps take all those pieces off. As you can see, they're all flying all over down here. But I'm not even going to worry about that anymore right now for this video because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to be making these embellishments. So I'm going to continue trimming out the inside of these squares off camera, and I will get all 3 of these done, and then I'll be right back to show you what my next step is. This is another reason why I love my Caterpillar so much, is because the blade never needs to be replaced ever, so it never gets dull. But the only bad part about my Caterpillar is you cannot gut papers with it, and that is what I need right now. So but yeah, that's why I love this trimmer so much, because I don't ever have to worry about it cutting like as bad as this one right here is cutting. Okay, so I am taking a couple of the other scraps and doing the same thing that I did with these, but just on a smaller scale, because, you know, I used a couple of them die cuts from this kit as frames, and I really loved it. So that's what made me think I should make some more of these little frames. Okay, so I cut this one, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a frame like that out of all 3 of these as well. So I'll be right back after I do that. Okay, so we've got all these little frames cut, and the ones that I'm mimicking by Mr. Holtz are kind of layered a little. You can see little layers sticking out behind them, and then they're stitched. So I realized that the writing is not going the right direction on this, but I don't care. I am just going to adhere this to the top of that one, and I'm going to offset it a little so you can see like a little bit of the black sticking out. Okay, I'm gonna do that with these 2 as well. And you can make them like angled, like twisted, or you can make them offset down, whichever way. So I can even offset this one with this little frame showing in the middle, but I think I just want to do it like how I did the black one, just offset down a little. So I've got those 2, and then this one, I wasn't planning on putting these together, but they kind of do fit together. So I'm gonna do the same thing with these 2 and offset them. Okay, and this guy is just gonna be his lonesome little self. He's not gonna have another layer, which is fine. If I wanted, I can even cut some smaller ones out of the middle of these frames. It might look kind of cute. Maybe I'll do that really quick. I'll go off camera to do that. Okay, and I can offset those 2 or kind of leave them. I could put one on here like that. Oh, I kind of like this yellow one in the background of that, so I will do that. And to do what I'm showing right now, you don't have to layer these together. You could just cut little cute frames and leave them and just leave them. They don't need to be layered up. This is just a little bit too big here for me, so I'm going to cut a little bit off. So like I was saying, you don't have to layer your frames, or you can layer even 3 together if you wanted to layer 3 together and make a really big frame. That way it would also look good. Okay, but I'm gonna leave one plain so I can show you what it will look like without layering it. Next step, I'm gonna get my little stamping pad that I use, which is just a piece of fun foam. I'm gonna grab my scribbles and stitches and splatters stamp set. We restocked these. They are in stock again. I'm so glad. We will keep restocking them if they keep reselling out, so please don't worry. But we do have them in stock right now. And I'm gonna grab the stitching, and I think I'm just gonna get the one that's the single stitch, not the one that's stitched back and forth. So I'm gonna lay that down so it goes nice and straight on my stamp block. And then this is a tough one because this is patterned pretty well. So I'm going to use black ink for this so you can see it. But you could use any color ink at this point that you want. I don't want my stitching, my faux stitching, to go off the edge. So I'm going to put where I want it to end. I'm going to put sticky notes so that way it's not going all the way off the edge of the frame. I'll show you what I mean. So I was gonna say something. You could use any color ink you wanted here. I was saying that. Oh, another thing that I thought would even kind of be fun, if you wanted to use embossing powder, I think it would look really cool to ink this in like a Versamark clear ink and put white embossing powder on it. I think that would look cool. The stitches would kind of be embossed and stick out even a little better, and I think white would look really good. Okay guys, so I've got my little stitched up stamp here. I'm going to use black on this one as well. I'm also going to use black on this one because I feel like it'll pull the black out of there. But I should try, you know what, I'm probably just going to use black on all of them so they coordinate. But I really think if I wasn't doing this on camera and I had a little more time and I wasn't worried about how boring it would be for you to watch, I think I would use white embossing powder and do one of these and heat emboss it. I think that would just look so sharp, and it would probably look even more real, more like real stitches than even just the stamp. So I'm going to go off camera and do the rest of these, and I will be right back. Alrighty guys, whoa, I've got all my little frames here. From here, I mean, it's pretty easy. If you want to embellish these frames up, you could do that. If you don't want to embellish them up, you really don't need to. Like, they're pretty much ready for whichever direction you want to move from here. Now, of course, the Tim Holtz ones are just in a package, not embellished. They're just in a little package like this. So I'm just gonna leave these for now. You know, no, I'm not, because I have so much that I can embellish them with. I have so many pieces. I'm gonna add a few embellishments real quick just to give you some ideas. So I'm gonna put this little clip on one. I'm going to put places, let's see. I'm trying to find a smaller one. Our little getaway on this one. And you're gonna want, the sticker is sticking out over the edge, so I'm just gonna powder up the back here. Okay, these are a little harder to use because if they're going off the edges, they're puffy stickers, so they're not hard like regular stickers. They're kind of flimsy. So I'm gonna try not to make it go off the side. Okay, and then I think I could get a couple little things down here. Okay, so this is all if this makes sense. This is all I'm kind of gonna do. Okay. And then I've got this cute little airline wings that I think I want to stick on there. Okay guys, you get the idea what I'm doing here. So I've got those little frames. So that's one way to style your scraps. And then another way is, a lot of times, since this is a travel-ish, summery, travel-ish kit, I know that there can be a lot of memorabilia that you pick up in your travels. So I decided to pull these two little bags from my stash because I want to embellish them up as my other Style Your Scraps video, and then I can use them to put embellishments, or I mean ephemera in, like real life memorabilia in on my albums. And I've got these great little tiny pieces that were like the branding strip pieces, and they're great for this because they're just already cut so tiny, and they're perfect to embellish up these little bags. And I probably will cut the ends off so it's not hanging off the end on this one. So I'm just gonna start adhering things down because you really, I mean, this isn't for a particular layout that I have in mind, so it just is what it is. Like I'm just gonna put stuff down and it goes where it goes. And then when I'm working with this kit next, maybe I can pull these out and use them. Maybe I can specifically look for pictures that have little pieces of memorabilia that go along with them. And that's how I can decide, you know, what I'm gonna scrapbook next with this kit. And these little scraps. I'm gonna pop this up on foam tape just to add a little dimension there. And I'm just gonna keep adding little bits and pieces to both of these bags. And I wish there was one that said itinerary, because I would totally put the word itinerary or something on the outside of this. Or, oh, I know there's one that says places we go, things we do, people we love. Let's see. These are kind of big to put on these little things. This is not big though. Explore more. That looks good down there. Okay. I've even got some stickers. You can use a hexagon punch to help notch the ends of, put little flag notches in the end there. And these are great for if I was on a vacation and I picked up the business card of a restaurant that we ate at or something. These are like the perfect size to put like all the little restaurants that we ate at in there, or different things like that, or hotel key, like if you keep your hotel key, or other little bits of memorabilia that you kept. And as you can see, these just kind of come together pretty quick. Oh my gosh, you guys, you know what I forgot this whole time? This is silly. I still have 2 whole sticker sheets. I totally forgot about them because I didn't pull them out. So there's a lot of leftover pieces here. You know what? I'm not going to use that star right there. I would rather use it on this. Okay, I can't believe that I forgot that I have all of these. I would love to make one of these little bags with some of this like toned down elements too. So I think I would make one with some of these stamps. I think that would be really cool. Or train ticket. You know what? I'm gonna go grab one more of these little bags and make one more because the ideas are just flowing in my mind. And I can't help it. Okay, train ticket, and I'm gonna put with the train ticket Big City Adventure because that kind of fits together. And I've got the arrivals. And then I'm gonna add a couple little scraps of paper here. I think. So I could go on and on all day just making little bags to hold ticket stubs or whatever memorabilia. I so bad want to put that on there. That would be so cute. I feel like it still needs a little something down at the bottom here. Kind of making a mess, so I'm going to try to reel it in right now. We'll be done with these for now. But you could keep going. You could add all kinds of things. You see how fun it is. You can even do them sideways and put longer words because they could go sideways on your layout and things could stick in sideways. So, okay, that is that. And now the last style your scraps that I want to work on, I'm gonna stick with all these little tiny pieces of paper. So this is gonna be kind of a lot. I'm going to grab, I'm debating what I should do here. I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock. You could use any color that you wanted. I'm gonna get some of these embellishments put away and out of my way so I can work on this with you. Okay, I need to decide how long is a good length that most of these scraps can be cut into. And I'm thinking 2 inches. I think most of them, because these are tiny, can be cut into 2-inch strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut as many pieces as I can to be thin like this. So what is this, like a 1/2 inch, maybe 2.5 inches. I'm gonna cut them all to a whole bunch at a 1/2 inch thick and 2.5 inches long. And I'm just gonna go off camera and do this with a whole bunch of these scraps because I know it's pretty boring watching me do this. So I will come back when I have a bunch of these done. Okay guys, I did a ton of them. I have some left here in case I need them. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put these together like at 90-degree angles, okay? I'm not even gonna adhere them all the way down to the layout quite yet because I've never done this before and I wanna make sure that it works. And I'm just gonna randomly pick colors. Like I'm not doing a pattern. You can see I used 2 of the same color in that first one. And I'm just randomly gonna pick from my pile here and just start doing this chevron shape. And then at some point, like this point right now, I'm gonna do one more row on the end here, but it doesn't need to be 2.5 inches long because it's gonna get cut off. Oops. Doing one more row here. Okay, and then at some point I am going to adhere this, which I think the point is now. I'm going to adhere this to this background paper. Okay, I want to use my T-square to do this so that it's nice and lined up, or you could use your T-square to do this. I'm not going to. I am just simply going to adhere this to the back of my paper. I'm just gonna eyeball it. So this is just a really good way to use up teeny tiny strips or branding strips if you have them. If your strips were a little longer than what mine are, you could very easily do this with like pieces of strips that are way longer than 2.5 inches like I used here. So mine are just 2.5 inches long because that's what I had. So then I'm gonna come right below it, and I'm going to do, you know what, I'm gonna start on the same side so that they're all overlapping in the same way. I'm actually gonna use a different color because I wanna lay this down to make sure that it's long enough. Okay, and then come in here and just do this all the way back down. Okay, and at the end, you're gonna have a nice chevron, almost like a chevron patterned paper. So you just gotta make sure, it's okay that it's overlapping a little there. I'll fix it on the next layer that I do. So just make sure to keep your papers, you know, nice and butted up against the one that's already there. That's what matters. And then the next line, you can cover up any mistakes on the next chevron that you've got going on. So I am going to continue doing this off camera because it's not too exciting to watch. And I will come back when I've got it all done, and hopefully it will look pretty nice. Okay guys, I could keep going and make this a little bit longer, but I think this is fine. So this will be, at the end, I've got some weird pieces sticking out. I'm just gonna go in and trim them up so you can't see the unevenness. And you only need to do that on the bottom row. You won't need to do that on the other rows because they will just, anything uneven would be covered up by the next row of chevron scraps. So it's just the very bottom row that you've got to come in and do a little cleanup, because I was not extremely precise when trimming my 2.5 inch strips. If I would have been a lot more precise, probably wouldn't have to do that little trimming at the bottom. And then I'm just gonna come in here and trim off the excess that's hanging over. And again, you can make these thicker than 1/2 inch too. The reason I made them 1/2 inch is because I had so many branding strips that were already 1/2 inch thick. So that's where the 1/2 inch came. But this is all ready for me to just create a layout on, put a couple pictures and some embellishments, and it's done. So that is the third piece of Style Your Scraps. Oh, and let me show you, I'm just gonna flip this over. What I had thought with these, I just thought these would look cool randomly on a layout. Just, maybe not like that. Just radiating out of a picture or something. Maybe I could put a picture in the middle and just have those 3 or 4 in there. So that's why I wanted to leave these scraps intact. Okay guys, this is all the scraps from this kit that I've left. These are cardstock from my stash. So this is what we're left with. We really worked our way through this kit. And of course there's some embellishments too, which I will go over in my next video in a couple days, where I show you everything I made from this kit. I go over all the layouts that I made, show you all of the things that I made from the Style Your Scraps. I show you what's left with my kit, and I'm going to show you what my future plans with the leftover pieces of this kit are. But in the meantime, let me lay out everything that we did today. And you could even use these chevrons in conjunction with things that we made today. Like it all matches, you know what I mean? Like, let's try this one. It all coordinates. Or two frames and a little bag. Okay. So we've got a bunch of little frames, a couple cute little bags for embellishments, and a background piece that's ready to be the starting point of a layout. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple of days with my wrap-up video. Okay, bye.